to you on a Victory Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let the Royals get going. Ask the Padres how they're feeling right now. Royals taking 2 of 3 down in sunny San Diego. They are off today, and they are back at the K coming up on Monday. But first, they're going to dispatch the Pale Hose from Chicago coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They are off today. We get to, because their third series of the year, we will give away some Royals tickets today. That's right. We got a lot to get to. Jake Levon, Fulton Caster with you on this Thursday. We'll talk some Chiefs, talk a little AFC, more college realignment news, and we're going to talk ghosts. That's right. We are going to talk paranormal activity because there is a connection between the Royals and apparently Casper the Friendly Ghost, or, one of them mean ghosts. So we're going to talk all things ghost, courtesy of the best hitter for the Royals. So that is coming up today as well. Let us know your thoughts on our Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line, 785-272-9429. We will also take your texts as always, 785-272-9429. We got the PGA at Oak Hill going on right now. Not the best start for Topeka native Gary Woodland. This is a tough track right now. If you're not driving it well, you are going to be in trouble. So we'll get a little update on what's going on up there in New York at Oak Hill. The Royals take 2 of 3 from the Padres. The bullpen game.
Well,
not bad. Carlos Hernandez. Maybe that's his role. Maybe Carlos Hernandez, your job is to get 6 outs right out the gate, and then you go sit down.
That is an idea that has now been floated around by friend of the program, David Oleski, that I'm also fully on board with. If they can't find a solid 5th starter, Carlos Hernandez, the opener, is not the worst idea you could make.
And here's the reason why they need to try it out. Ready? I'm going to lay it out real simple. This year's over, so let's try and see if it works. Like, this is the best part about your team being bad, and that you can just try stuff. You know what I mean? Let's see if it works. Oh, Fulton, it doesn't. Oh no. What are we going to do? Oh, you mean probably lose like we were going to? Like, this is exactly this is what last year should have been, but this is what this year can be now. Just try it out. Trot him back out there. Maybe even see if he can go 2.5 innings, 2 1/3. Maybe you just say, you know what? That's being greedy, Jake. You're at the casino. You just won $150 on one hand of blackjack. Go home. Don't risk it. Just go home. That's what it was. Because I saw yesterday, hey, he was mowing them down in the first 2 innings. Why not give him a third, No. There's just 2 innings is all we need.
Well,
you got to get 21 outs the rest of the game.
And the way the opener works, like the Rays introduced this entire idea, and the way the system works, and now we have a name for the second relievers. That's the better part. We finally named that thing after how many years it's been with an opener. Your opener gets you 2 innings. That's their entire job, is get you 2. Then you go to your bulk guy, and your bulk guy gets you 3.
Okay.
That's the goal.
Bulk.
Yeah, bulk.
Okay.
That is, we have now landed on a name for the second reliever.
You didn't enunciate the K there. And so
bulk, not bowl, bulk. B-U-L-K.
Yeah, bulk guy.
Innings in bulk. We now have a name for the second guy. I'm so happy about that. It's been far too long I was trying to figure out what the hell to name that person. So, I saw this, Brunetteleschi, he, brought this idea. I mean, Carson Hernandez pitches the first 2 innings, and maybe Daniel Lynch could be a piggyback guy. And because maybe Daniel Lynch doesn't work out well of doing, 5, maybe Daniel Lynch, because he goes, man, Daniel gave you 3 really good innings, usually against the bottom part of the order. Well, in theory, you cobble those 2 together, you've put them in their 2 best positions for them to succeed, and you've now created, out of 2 guys who aren't good on their own in this area, you've created a 5th starter.
They're Voltron.
Now, I would rather see if Daniel Lynch can just be a regular starter first before that, but I'm not against the idea if they need to get to it.
Let's put it this way. The Royals ain't going to have 5 really good starters next year, so you might as well try this out next year. Try it out the rest of this year. See if it works, if he can go 2 innings and that type of thing. So,
no matter what, I'm happy to see that Carlos Hernandez elite bullpen arm is a thing that's happening.
And so that was great to see.
Yeah,
that
was
really,
great.
really was. And then the lineup yesterday, the front half of the lineup, those 5 guys who should be in the lineup 6 out of every 7 days, which so far they are, produced really in this series against the Padres. Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, MJ Melendez. MJ went full Salvador Perez and swung at a pitch there was no reason to swing at.
But it worked.
You don't really like that, but Sal's made a career out of it. And then Garcia and then Nick Prado. Those 5 guys, that is the building blocks for the Kansas City Royals. And yesterday, Bob had a great series, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Bob hit well. Vinny started breaking out of his slump, which was nice to see. He had his first extra base hit in over a week with that home run.
Yep.
Drove in his first runs in like over a week. And
then I poked fun at MJ Melendez there, but it was good to see him come through in a clutch situation.
And it's one of the things to where if you're going to swing at a bad pitch, do something with it. It's why we can tolerate Sal's swing decisions sometimes, because he will take a pitch a foot off the ground and golf it out of the park.
Correct.
You don't want to teach that. Just like I don't want MJ swinging away at a pitch up and away, way out of the zone. But if he's going to do it and it works, then I can live with it. And he did. And MJ's figured it out. Michael Garcia was in the slump of all slumps to enter this series, and he has really broken out of it the last 2 games, which is great to see. Like, all these young guys are starting to really figure some things out, and that's just what this offense has been for moving toward the month. They've been consistent. They score runs. They get and the thing I loved the most out of yesterday was Yu Darvish was dominating this team for the first time through.
Correct.
9 up, 9 down, and they looked hapless.
Well, I will say this. The back end of the lineup was just awful in general.
Well, when it was Massey, it was Eaton. Was it Massey, Eaton, JBJ?
Yeah, those 3 stinks.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah. But the overall point being, and I will not say Massey stinks. I will still hold to that point.
Well, as of today, he does.
As of yesterday, he did not have a good day yesterday.
Yeah.
But, even then, those, first trip through the order, it was, if he's Yu Darvish is hard. He's really good. He has 7 pitches, and you don't know what's coming anytime. It's a pain. The second time through the order, what I liked was you saw an adjustment. They made Yu Darvish work a lot more. They had some opportunities. Couldn't get them through the second time through the order, but they made him work, which I talk a lot about approach and process with this lineup. That's what you saw yesterday, is they saw him first time through, got a taste of what he was doing. Second time through, they adjusted their approach mid-game. It worked a little better. And then third time through, they got it. That's what you do to elite pitchers. Less than elite, it's a little bit of a quicker process. But against the top-tier pitchers, that's what you have to do. Is your first time up there, you just figure out what's going on. You just try to adjust. And they did. And they figured it out, and they scored. And then they, by the seat of their pants, hung on to finish that baby up.
Yep.
Because Lord, was that not pretty.
And I think Bobby Witt, Vinny P, MJ, Garcia, Prado, that's your 5. Throw in Sal. There's your 6, right?
Yeah.
Because I think Salvador Perez is still going to be good next year. So you got to find one more. The goal is to get to 7. You're not going to get to 9. The Royals
No, that's
will
being
never
greedy.
get to 9.
Like
the Royals the Royals will never get to 9. That'll never happen. Even in 2015.
No, you had the black hole in right field.
You still had, Alex Rios, okay? So
you just cobble together what's happening out there.
But there is one guy that I am excited for, and I think he's going to be with the Royals probably on May 22nd. I think they're going to bring him up May 22nd. And that's Drew Waters.
Yeah.
If you add Drew Waters, because he's got the most pop out of anyone in the outfield that's not there right now. And I think there's a reason why he was drafted where he was and why you gave
There's a reason he's a former number 1 prospect in an organization.
Exactly.
He was the Braves number 1 at a time.
Exactly. So if Drew Waters comes up and then you add Drew to this, that gets you your 7 guys on the offensive side who you feel like can be at least dangerous. Like right now, Eaton, not dangerous.
No.
JBJ, not dangerous. Massey, not dangerous. But the other 5 plus Sal, 6, those are dangerous. Like you have to be careful when you pitch to Bobby Witt, MJ, Prado, especially recently because he's hitting it very, very well. Salvador Perez. Garcia has shown he's got something. He hit a double yesterday. You add Drew Waters, and what Drew Waters did last year in limited time, which was a lot better than I thought it would be. You're now looking at 7 guys in the lineup. That can be exciting a little bit. Now, we're not talking about the pitching, but just the sheer, the adage is, and this is why if you are able to do both, you're the Braves, you're the Dodgers, you're the Rays, you pay for pitching, you develop hitting. That is the adage right now. You pay for pitching. And if you look at what the Royals did in 2015, now a part of me is I don't like referencing 2015 and 2014 as much anymore because that was 8 years ago. The game is a little bit different.
The game's different, and then it takes a longer deep dive than this. Everyone has got to stop trying to recreate that because what the Royals did was a 1 in a million thing.
Correct. But
it's not the way to build a consistent winning team.
But it's easy to reference it because people know about that team and how it was built. But they did it the same way. They paid for pitching. They paid for
had a lot of homegrown hitters, and then they were able to find pitchers everywhere else.
You paid for Volquez. You paid for Shields. You paid for technically you traded for Shields, but that's the same thing as paying for in my ascension.
I mean, just the same thing for Johnny Cueto to get him to round out your rotation. Same thing for Jeremy Guthrie, who was a piece of the rotation.
You found a way. You paid for all that. You had 2 homegrown starters. That was it this entire time. So if you can develop the hitters, and I still say when we talked, yesterday with RJ Anderson, at some point in time, and it's not this year, and it won't be the offseason next year, but in order for this to work, you are going to have to make a big gamble. You are going to have to, go for it. A golf analogy here, you're 250 yards out on a par 5. You're down by 2 strokes. At some point in time, you're going to have to risk it. You're going to have to pull out the 3-wood, and you got to hit it on the green over water, and there's out of bounds left, and there's a chance you could hook it out of bounds, and the season is over. But if you don't, congratulations, you're not going. And they did that in 2014. They traded for Will Shields, got Wade Davis, and then they did it again with Johnny Cueto and Ben Zobrist. At some point in time, they are going to have to do that. Yeah, they are. And it might be to the tune of, hey, we got to trade the second coming of our best player in Will Myers, or we're going to have to trade our best pitching prospect to do that. That day is coming because unless you're the Dodgers, which we're not, unless you're the Rays, we're trying to be, we still won't be, You have to. That's how it's gone. Like, look at what every smaller market franchise has done leading up to this. You gotta go for it. You went for it. Cleveland did exactly that. They went for it. They didn't end up getting the ring. I mean, they technically got, an American League ring, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you gotta go for it. And it's not now. It might not even be in 2014. It might be the off season of 2014 where you go, this is it. Time to, line in the sand, point of no return. We're gonna do this. And I hope that JJ Piccolo, because I as much as I want this team to be competitive, the whole point is you want to win. The question is, would you rather win one and never make the playoffs for 10 years, or make the playoffs every single year and never win one? That's where you like, and I go back to, it's kind of like the UConn basketball or the KU basketball situation. Would you rather be UConn or would you rather be KU? I would rather be UConn. I would rather win. I want the titles.
Yeah.
Whereas KU has had, we are going to be in there every single time, no questions asked. And some people would want to be in that spot.
Yeah. It depends really on who you are. And for the Royals, it comes down to where do you see yourself sitting when this season's all said and done? Because if they feel that they're just pitching away from being a really, really, really good team, it could be this offseason. If they at the end of 162 games have everything gone through and go, man, we have a lineup that could win 90 games if it had the right pitching behind it. Well, maybe if JJ Piccolo and Jen Sherman think that, they go, all right, let's go get the pitching to supplant that, to support it.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be this offseason. It could not. We aren't going to know the answer to that question until 162 games have been played. That is an answer you cannot identify right now.
But I want them to try the opener. I want them to do everything.
I want them to figure out what pitching they have in house.
And that's part of it is, hey, maybe Carlos Hernandez can do this.
Maybe it is. But I mean,
maybe
let Daniel Lynch start. Let some of these guys at AAA and AA come up and start.
I would rather
run the gambit.
This is why I would trade Scott Barlow right now. I would trade Scott Barlow right now and see if Jackson Kowar can do it. You know what? If you burn,
I can answer that question.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out, so then we can just move on from him.
Yeah.
Like, Scott Barlow is not going to be on this team the next time that they are good. You might as well trade him right now. Hell, package Barlow and Chapman together, send them to the Rays, because the Rays need bullpen help right now, and give us one of their players. That's what I do right now. You get both of them. You know what? Have them both. You're welcome, Tampa. Coming up, little edition of You Did What? And then we're going to talk about ghosts. You did what centers around something that's amazing and fantastic, and I cannot wait until it happens, which it will be in 2026. But today, the FIFA World Cup came out with their branding for the World Cup, and I like it. It's "We Are Kansas City." It's great. It's fantastic. I love it. There's some logos with the fountains and all that kind of stuff. It's the idea was great.
Yeah.
The execution,
poop.
What kind of font is that? Like, who greenlit that font? It looks like the WE, and then it's underneath that is ARE, we are, and then it says 26, and then it just like block letters, it says Kansas City. But the WE, and then the A, the R, and the E, and then the 2 and the 6 look like they got stung by a bee or a wasp, and they were allergic, and they puffed up like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Like, who greenlit that font? Like, and the font doesn't even look like the W looks like it's like rounded and plumpy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got like the E is not even remotely like that. I have no idea what font that is, but whatever graphic designer thought, yeah, this looks great. You did not even like send that to like the people around your office. Like when we send out Pigskin and Hoops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our magazine, we look at the cover, right? I go to you, I go to Brendan, I go to Dan, I go to Britt, I go to Bradley J, I go to Greg Akagi. I'm like, what do you think of this? And unless it's universal, yes, that's clean. We don't go like, how did this get passed?
That's a good question. It's a little weird.
We are needing an EpiPen is what we need because of this font. It's ridiculous. Like, I love the idea. I really do. And people are so underestimating the World Cup coming. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. But that's terrible. It really is. Coming up next, Ghost Talk. Baseball today. What are you going to do, Fulton?
Drive to Wichita. And then after that, just probably hang out at home, maybe see some friends.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
Okay.
Relaxing night.
Watch a little NASCAR with your pops?
Probably not, mainly because I don't think there's a race on tonight.
Oh, okay.
But also, no.
Why not?
I love my dad. I love my dad to death. He's probably my favorite human being on this planet. I can't. It's not my thing, man.
You know what you need to do? You've got Netflix, right?
Yeah.
You need to watch the Formula One show with your dad and see if he gets like angry because he's a NASCAR guy. I feel like you can't be both.
No, so I always clear this. My dad is not just my dad is a racing guy.
So he
loves racing in all forms.
Okay.
I don't know if he's ever watched, because like he doesn't watch like IndyCar all the time, but like he'll watch the Indy 500 every year. Every year that's on, he watches that. He watches drag racing. He loves dirt track racing. My dad loves racing.
Has he been up to watch the NHRAs?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the answer is yes, but it might be no.
You need to get him up there for that.
Yeah. My dad loves racing. No.
Oh man, we got to get you out.
Yeah, no. My dad just loves racing in general. So I think he would watch Formula One, maybe be like, "Oh, this is cool," because he likes the nuts and bolts of racing as well. He spends his weekends helping my cousin work on his race car.
The power that the dragsters have.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. We got to get him up here.
I'm just not a racing guy. Me personally.
This is one of those things where you got to go to at once.
Oh, no. Yeah. Like I've gone to a NASCAR race with my dad before, and Tyler, just because, I wanted him to go, so I went with him.
And it's fun.
Yeah. Racing in person is very fun.
Did you have the headphones?
I did not have the
You
headphones.
gotta have the headphones.
I know, that's what my dad said too.
Gotta have the headphones.
So that's what my dad said too. We just didn't do it that time.
But you need to do the drags.
Okay.
The drag racing. That's
I will
fun.
find time to get my dad up here and
Yeah.
we'll go to the drags.
Yeah, we got to do that. We got to somehow get. We need to get Pops up here. I'm not kidding you. Like, we got to make that happen, because that is and if you go once and you're like, okay, and you never go again, totally fine. You know, it's not like NHL hockey.
Yeah.
If you go to a hockey game and you like it, you'll go back.
Yeah.
If you go to a NASCAR race and you liked it, you might not go back.
Yeah.
Same thing with like
I enjoyed my time. I probably will never go back. Unless my dad
Yeah.
wants to go and invites me, I'll probably go just because my dad wants me to go.
But whereas like certain things, you need to experience it, you know, one time you got to experience it. So, yeah, Fulton will be gone tomorrow. So what is it then when you leave? It is, you know, the takeover.
Yeah, I don't
When
know. The text line needs to figure out what to call you when I'm gone, because it became that apparently I'm just a benevolent dictator when you're gone.
When I'm gone,
I don't know what it is, but yeah, I mean, I've had run the ship a little bit, so Jake gets his turn to just steer the ship by himself.
So that'll be we got to come up with something. We'll figure that out.
It's a little different because like you are already at like the top seat of the power of this food chain.
That is true.
So it's a little different when like things change over to like I get to be in the power seat.
Yeah, that is correct. We need to talk to Dan and Brennan about Carnival game.
Yeah, we did not bring that up yet.
We got to do that. That's got to happen. That will happen. I told my wife about it. She's like, that is awesome. And she goes, and the best part about that is it'll take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And your money will be gone. I said, yeah. And who knows? Maybe I get to, I'll buy, I'll win something and it'll be a stuffed animal and it eventually will be ripped apart by my dog. So it works out great.
One of those gigantic big bears.
Yeah. My dog would love that. She really would.
Yeah, probably.
All right, Fulton.
Yes.
Saw this today. Vinny Pasquantino was on MLB's satellite radio channel on Sirius, and he was talking about his mom coming to visit him. Vinny Pasquantino, big mom guy, right? So here is what Vinny had to say about his mom. Well, his mom decided to fly out to sunny San Diego. Well, his mom also happens to be really interested in ghosts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to clear, this is their trip to Milwaukee.
Or Milwaukee, yeah.
Yeah, because to add a little background text to
Sorry about that. Yeah,
you're good.
yes.
To add a little background context to everybody out there, road trips to Milwaukee are famous for players because there's a hotel most of them usually stay at every time because it's just a good hotel to stay at while in Milwaukee.
And
it's the Pfister Hotel.
And it's near the stadium.
Yeah, it's the right spot. It is apparently, though, notoriously haunted. Like, there are players on MLB teams that will choose different team accommodations, will pay for their own accommodations to not stay at this hotel.
Yeah. So
that's the context to this right here.
Here's what Vinny Pasquantino had to say about his mom coming up to Milwaukee and all that. Here we go.
Yeah, it was awesome. Her to be able to come up there, basically just to hang out with me was a really special time. And I don't know the last time that she was there without my dad. So it was really cool just having her. And yeah, she saved me from some ghosts, which was nice. So like the trip wasn't planned for Mother's Day. It was planned because she's very into ghosts and like paranormal stuff. So I had asked her a few weeks prior. I had asked her if she knew if the hotel was haunted, and she didn't know and said, "Can I come?" So sure, come on up. So we got to spend the weekend together and happened to fall on Mother's Day, which was really cool. Yeah, there was a lot of Googling being done by her, trying to figure out where the ghosts were. She was welcoming them into the room. And so we walked around the hotel a little bit. She figured out that apparently it's the third floor that is where we needed to be. But also I was on the newer side of the hotel, not like the older side, which is apparently where everything goes down. So she really wanted to be on the other side, but that's where the suites are. So so I'm not in a suite. So that worked out for me as someone who doesn't want to be around ghosts. So good for me, bad for her.
All right. There's a lot to unpack. Obviously, anybody knows that ghosts are on the 3rd floor. I mean, come on now.
Well, in that particular building, they're on the 3rd floor.
Yeah, come on. Like, well, you look up the Pfister Hotel, one look at it, and you're like, 3rd floor ghosts, obviously. If my mom were into ghosts, there's zero chance I'm going to be bringing it up on a national radio show that, oh yeah, by the way, my mom's super into ghosts and the paranormal activity.
Oh, I'd bring it up. let the quirkiness be shown. People are into that stuff. Not me.
I'm asking you right now.
Yeah.
Do you believe in ghosts and the paranormal?
Oh, 100%. Ghosts are real. I ain't messing with them. Ghosts are real and aliens are real.
See, to me, those are two different things.
I know. I'm just putting them together. I'm just putting it all out there right now. They're two different things. You can believe in one without believing the other. No, ghosts are real, and don't mess with them. Leave them alone.
So do you think, okay, if you go to that hotel, do you think there's ghosts that are
Yes, and I will stay away from them. I will not go to the 3rd floor. I will not stay in the suites. I will stay far away.
Like, I think our universe is so vast.
Yes.
And some of the best videos are like, hey, this is how big Earth is. Then this is how big Mars is. And then you've got Jupiter and then the sun. And then you've got something bigger than the sun. And then you've got the galaxy, like the Milky Way. And then the Milky Way is a part of another galaxy. Like, there's no way that there's not something else out there.
Yeah.
However, I draw the line at ghosts.
Not a ghost guy?
Not a ghost
Not
guy.
A believer in ghosts?
Not a believer in ghosts. Now, am I a karma guy? Oh, yeah. I think if eventually karma comes around. Now, I don't know if that's kind of the same as ghosts.
No, karma and ghosts are two entirely different things.
You know,
like, it's two entirely different systems.
So I do not believe, like,
that's fine.
Like, you know,
teach their own.
Naming, like, the whole ghost thing just cracks me up.
So here's what I'm thinking now. No, here's what I'm thinking.
The paranormal activity and all that. Oh, I'm like the people who pay money to have somebody come in who's a paranormal expert with their like radar guns and all that kind of stuff, and they're like, well, yeah, I think something's over there. like the movie Ghostbusters, fantastic.
Ghostbusters is awesome.
It ain't happening, folks.
Ghostbusters is a fantastic film.
Great movie, but it's all because it's
again
not,
though. We go back to we go back to my point though, which is don't mess with the ghost. Ignore like, you know, and listen. There are definitely the people out there who use some people's beliefs in ghosts to make a quick buck. I mean, just like, you know, and people pretend to be psychics,
and you deserve to get your money taken from you.
Yeah. Now, this all being said, there are two things I want us to do now. One, I want us to find a nearby place that's supposedly haunted and make you go.
Okay,
and just see what it is.
I'll go.
Two, I want you to go to Stoll Cemetery that's not too far from here and see if you get the same uneasy feeling that I got.
Stoll?
Stoll.
What
Stoll
is that?
Cemetery in Stoll, Kansas. It's just outside of Lawrence somewhere. It's not that far away. It is allegedly a very, very ghosty, demony place. And my mom is big into this stuff. Like Vinny and I got something in common. Both our moms are into this stuff. And so one time my mom was visiting me in Lawrence, and she wanted to drive by there. And I, being a very nice person, was like, sure, we'll do that. I felt unsettled. Now, I don't know if that was, you know, the little psycho stuff in your head. If like you're thinking you're going to a weird place was there.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
See, now that I agree. Now, do I want to hang out in cemeteries? No.
Cemeteries are fine.
It's kind of creepy, okay? But the whole like, oh my gosh, ghosts, all that I get. Like the only reason why is because people put that out there and then it's in the back of your mind.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's different. That's
No, I
your
agree.
mind playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
That's not an actual
there's a
paranormal
difference.
activity, and then
Yeah, there's
someone's
difference.
gonna jump out and Casper's gonna be like, "Hey, let me help you out."
Now, ghosts aren't like Casper. Not just like someone's gonna like appear and be like, "Oh, hi, hello, I'm a friendly." No, I also don't believe, don't subscribe to the idea that just all ghosts are out there to mess with you and like stick around and do weird stuff. But like, don't mess with ghosts. What freaky stuff out there?
So from the text line, Jake, don't mess with ghosts.
Correct.
No, I won't mess with ghosts because ghosts aren't real.
Okay.
From the text line here, stole, locked from the public though. Last I knew.
Well, if it is now, I went when either it was not locked from the public or I broke in somewhere. It was creepy. There's a church roughly right across the street. It felt weird, man. It was weird.
Vinny Pasquantino talking about his mom loving ghosts.
Yeah. Your mom not into some,
My mom is
different
into
stuff?
my mom is into gardening. Big
Well-
green thumb, okay.
Well,
That's what
I
my
don't have
mom is
bits for
into.
that. I don't have lines for that.
From the text line, Jake literally just messed with the ghosts.
True. Also, shout out friends from the 913. You mean Scooby-Doo doesn't portray the truth?
Also,
Here's what we learned from Scooby-Doo, though. Scooby-Doo taught us the real monsters are humans.
zoinks.
That's what Scooby-Doo taught us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a correct life lesson to learn.
From the text line, what about Field of Dreams? That's a movie. That is a
Point still stands.
made up movie. Then what about Casper?
We need to see if Brendan and Dan are ghost people. We need to see if you are the lone person on the 580 Sports team, or am I the lone guy who's like, oh yeah, ghosts are real.
I'm gonna go with you're the only one. I can't see Dan believing in ghosts. I just don't see Brendan as well. We will ask them here during the break. We will report back if they're here, or they might be at lunch. I don't know.
Who knows?
Coming up next, I want to meet Slimer from the. He would actually be kind of fun to hang out with. Coming up next, the PGA in Oak Hill gives you a little scoring update and some interesting tidbits on that second major. Absolutely terrific song.
Don't say I am not capable of making great jokes in this
This is
show.
a fantastic song. Fantastic song.
I'm so proud of this one. Not that it took any creativity to think of doing this idea, but it felt good.
The new Ghostbusters, the only reason it's semi-funny is because Kate McKinnon is in it, and she is hysterical. PGA, major number 2. Right now, Ryan Fox, Corey Connors, and Victor Hovland are leading it at 2 under par. Sahith Theegala, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas are at 1 under. This is a very difficult golf course. Colin Morikawa, Brooks Koepka even. John Rahm was at 1 under, and then I think Rahm ended up with a couple bogeys. He's now 2 over. This is a really, really hard golf course right now. Gary Woodland, 5 over par right now. It's crazy thick rough. The pin placements are insane. I'm going to tell you this. The winner of this golf tournament will be 2 under for the entire tournament.
Really?
Yeah.
Think that's the winning score.
Yeah. I think there are going to be fewer than 10 golfers under par for the entire tournament.
Okay.
This is going to play a lot like a U.S. Open.
Okay.
So right now, like Ryan Fox, Corey Connors, Victor Hovland, Sahith Theegala, they're all at 1 under. Like right now, there are eight guys under par. And it's just going to get harder throughout the day.
Yeah.
Those guys right there, Fox, Connors, I'm even going to say Theegala, they ain't going to be under par by Saturday, hole 10. None of those guys are under par. None of them. This is going to be a you got to drive the golf ball very, very well. And right now, if you're not driving it well, you're going to be in trouble. So not a surprise that Rory McIlroy is 2 over right now because he's not driving it well. Actually, in fact, Rory is now, he's 2 over par. And he was 3 over par. That's why I couldn't find his name. He just birdied a hole. So this is going to be a fun finish. And the reason why is because I like it when they struggle out there.
Yeah.
And I don't want it unfair, but I want it to be.
You like it when they look like mortals.
I want them to grind a little bit.
Yeah.
Like at Augusta, the only time you grind is on putts.
Yeah.
You know, because there's no rough at Augusta. There's a lot of space at Augusta. But in this situation, you hit it to the right, 10 feet. You're in thick rough. And now you're like, what are we going to do here?
Yeah.
No, I like this. I like a challenge when it comes to this. Oak Hill's more of a U.S. Open type of course. And even somebody said, I'll be surprised if the winning score is over par or is under par.
Yeah, it might be one of those tournaments where we get an over par final score as the champion.
I think that they don't want it that tough.
Yeah.
That's why I think the winning score will be under par. but I'm looking forward to this major.
Should be a fun weekend in the idea of like, yeah, it's not going to be. Everyone will always have a chance in the idea of someone could have a bad day at any moment. It's not like, someone's going to be hot for 4 straight days. And that does make it fun. It means if you have one bad day, you are not out of it. You just got to strive to the weekend.
Yeah.
If you can make the cut and get to the weekend, you're fine.
If somebody said, Jake, right now, would you take even par and go to the clubhouse? I would take it.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'll be a top 5 finish. I really do. Coming up, we're going to go a little around the AFC West with some interesting grades. We're going to talk with Jesse Newell coming up at the bottom of the hour. All of that coming up here on Mic'd Up. No Royals baseball today, so 580 Sports Talk coming up after Mic'd Up. On Mic'd Up. Jake Fulton along with Fulton Caster. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Victory Thursday edition. Talk more Royals baseball coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. Jesse Newell joins us at the bottom of the hour. As always, let us know your thoughts. You can check us out on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, search Sports on 580. Very simple. Subscribe. You go to our website, 580www.com. That's easy as well. You can watch the show as we stream it live on our website. You can also hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. Check us out on our Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line. We are going to give away some Royals tickets today because they won a series. Only the third time that's happened. So, thus, the third time it has happened, we're going to make you a winner. How about that? Very, very simple. Very, very easy here on this edition of Mic'd Up. Our list today, our favorite ghosts, because Vinny Pasquantino was talking about, ghosts on his interview with MLB's Sirius XM radio. Called his mom up, said, "Mom, you're big into this ghost thing. Why don't you come on up to Milwaukee?"
How nice of him.
What Vinny should have done is he should have went and bought a suite for his mom so they could have stayed there. Maybe she could have talked to a couple ghosts.
Listen, I don't think Vinny wanted to mess with the ghosts.
But if you invite your mom up for it, I feel like you need to at least interact with them.
Yeah, and that's what they did. They walked over to the area. They briefly did, but then Vinny intelligently was like, "But no, we're not sleeping where the ghosts are."
We did ask Brendan if he was a believer in the paranormal activity. His answer was a very brief and abrupt no. Dan was at lunch.
Yeah, so we haven't been able to talk to Dan yet.
We did ask Bradley J from the Big 94.5, and he said yeah. He didn't say yes or no. He said yeah.
Which is, we all know, is another way to say yes.
I mean that. So we're gonna go with our favorite ghosts. That's what we're gonna get into.
Just don't mess with ghosts, but ghosts are fine.
You can mess with ghosts.
Don't mess with ghosts.
There's no problem messing with ghosts.
Buddy, when your house gets turned upside down by ghosts, do not come crying to me.
Don't have to worry about that. So fun thing here, okay? When it comes to ghosts. So my son is 3.
Yes.
And he mentions and this is where when you have kids, you just do anything and everything to make it easy. So one time he asked, he goes, "Dad, the ghosts are in the room. Ghosts are monsters." And I said, "There are no ghosts or monsters in here." And he was like, "Well, how do you know that?"
Good question.
Simple. See, it's a simple answer. Sadie scares him away.
Smart man. Smart man.
I said Sadie scares him away.
Ghosts do not like dogs.
She does? Do you see ghosts right now? Well, no. Have you ever seen a ghost? No. Are you worried about them coming in? Yeah. Well, they're not going to, because Sadie scares them away. They're scared of Sadie. And I said, come here, Sadie. Sadie follows our kids everywhere.
Yeah.
And I said, come here, Sadie. And so I show my son Sadie's teeth, right?
Yeah.
She's a dog. She's got teeth. Ghosts are afraid of those teeth. And he goes, yeah. Huh. And so I go, whenever, this is 2 for 1. You just start thinking 2 for 1. So that's why we got to be nice to Sadie. Because 1, Sadie scares away all the ghosts and the monsters. We don't want them. That's why we don't have any monsters in our, or ghosts in our place, in your room. And he was just, thank you, Sadie. And then he goes to bed. There you go.
Great work there.
There you go.
That's top tier work.
That's peak dad right there.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well, because you wrapped up 2 lessons in 1.
Oh, yeah.
You got a twofer.
Yes.
Because you were able to get both your son to not be afraid of ghosts and monsters while also adding in the life lesson of be nice to the dog.
Yep.
Well done, Jake. Top tier. A+.
Yep.
A+.
Like the look on his face, like, that makes sense.
That tracks.
That's it.
That logic fits together.
Yeah. And you just gotta go deeper. I was like, Sadie's pretty fast. Yeah, she'll catch him. And it just, his eyes just, well, Dad, you're so smart.
Nothing makes you feel more intelligent than getting a 3-year-old to believe the things you're saying.
Yes, no question.
Nothing makes you feel more intelligent.
Next, yes. When it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, we're going to talk with Jesse Newell at the bottom of the hour. But friend of 580 Sports Talk, Matt Verderham, I thought he came up with something pretty interesting for his off-season additions, okay, for the AFC West. And I think this is really, really interesting, okay? Of the AFC West additions for the Denver Broncos, for the Chiefs, for the Chargers, and for the Raiders, I want to ask you this, not counting draft picks because we don't know what they are. Who made the best move? Matt Verderham gave the grades, gave the Chiefs a B, the Broncos a B, the Chargers a C+, and the Raiders a C+. Who got the best free agent? Best free agent. Don't include draft picks. I want free agents. Because draft picks, it should be the Raiders. It should be the Broncos.
Yeah, because they were the worst last team.
Exactly.
Teams last year.
The Broncos said, hold my beer. We're not going to pick until pick 67. Or pick whatever it was, 90 something. So who had the single best addition to their team? If you had to rank them.
If you're going by free agency additions.
Yes.
Man. If you're going single best individual addition.
Yeah.
I think it's Kansas City.
It's Juwan Taylor, and it's not even close.
That's why. I think if we're going one singular addition, it's Juwan Taylor is the best signing of any of the 4 because
it's not even close.
Because for Denver, I mean, they added Mike McGlinchey, Ben Powers, Zach Allen, and Smashy Piran as free agency additions. I mean, on a 1-to-1, Taylor to McGlinchey, I think Taylor's a better right tackle than Mike McGlinchey. So
yes.
And I mean, at that point, I could hear an argument for Zach Allen on the edge. I really could because he's so good on the edge.
No.
But I still think Taylor's the best. And then, I mean, the Raiders free agency additions were Garoppolo, Jacoby Myers, and Marcus Epps. Okay. And then the Chargers added Eric Kendricks. So, no, I agree.
To me, it's not even a question. It is Juwan Taylor. So now, don't throw out the draft again. Who's got the second best free agent signing in the AFC West?
See, that I would go with Denver.
I think if you went, it comes down to 2 guys. There's nobody on the Raiders who's, to me, a guy that you go, wow, that fits the need. That's so important.
Jimmy Garoppolo is just more handsome Derek Carr. Jacoby Myers is fine.
Well,
Marcus Epps is fine.
The thing about Jacoby Myers is you got Jimmy Garoppolo throwing him the
Yeah,
football.
no, I agree.
Okay?
No, that's my thing with the Raiders.
Yeah.
That's why the Raiders are out on all these
Yeah.
discussions for me for free agency.
And the Chargers, they brought in Eric Kendricks.
That's all they did. Eric Kendricks is a mighty fine player, but I'm still kind of
Yeah, we're gonna bring. Yeah, linebacker's the real big issue for that team. No, I think the second best free agent signing comes down to Charles Omenihu or Mike McGlinchey.
See, I think it comes down to Charles Omenihu or Zach Allen.
You're a bigger Zach Allen guy than I am, but I look at it's even more strong to me by looking at this, breaking it all down. Charles Omenihu fits a need that the Chiefs had to have.
Yeah.
And I think Charles Omenihu, right next to Chris Jones, is going to have I think he's going to have close to 10 sacks this year. I really, really do. And so when I look at the off season, right?
Yeah.
The best team signed the best player in the division, and it's not close, especially at a position of need. Juwan Taylor, I think, will fit better with the Chiefs than what Orlando Brown did. Yeah. Then I think Charles Omenihu is going to fit perfect right next to Chris Jones. The flexibility that you got. To me, you can make the argument that the Chiefs had the two best free agent signings of the AFC West. And the best team's not supposed to do that. They're not supposed to have the room to do that.
Yeah.
I agree that the offseason for the Chiefs is a B. I think they did well. I would have liked them to try to go after the wide receiver position maybe a little bit better, but because it involves Patrick Mahomes, he's going to make things work. But the Chargers, their hope is that Eric Kendricks can play like he did 5 years ago, and that Quentin Johnston is the second coming of Quentin Jefferson. And then the Raiders' hope is that Tyree Wilson is Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
that's the hope.
Well, when you look at what all these teams did, and the way Matt Verderame graded these out, he gave the Chiefs a B, the Broncos a B, the Chargers a C+, and the Raiders a C. And I think that's pretty correct because overall, I've liked the Chargers offseason. Broncos offseason. I think they've done, within the constraints they have had, they've done the best they can. Now, I don't mind signing Mike McGlinchey and signing Ben Powers. I think that was intelligent moves. They need to make the offensive line better. The amount of money they gave to those two players is the problem I have of just like, what are you doing? But like the Broncos' hope is that their entire going into next year relies on, can Sean Payton fix Russell Wilson? And they've done a few things to try and help that. Mainly, they try to make the offensive line better so that way Russell Wilson has time, and they try to replace some of the losses they had defensively and the fact that they no longer will have Ejiro Evero being their defensive coordinator. Because now Vance Joseph is going to be the DC again. The Chargers, I don't know why they were so passive in free agency. It seems a little weird because they had holes.
The reason why is they don't have no cap space.
Well, that's fair.
And they're going to have to pay their quarterback.
Yeah, they do. I don't mind the addition of Eric Kendricks, but it's like, yeah, it's your point too. It's like, can he play like he used to play? And there's just other holes on that team. And the Chargers also, like, my thing with the Chargers the entire time has been their offensive line's still kind of a mess, and they have not really tried to invest in it. That's what baffles me when it comes to the Chargers. Fix your offensive line.
This is it for the Chargers. This is the year for the Chargers because next year they will not have Mike Williams and they will not have Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
this is it. Like we talk about the Bills window. No, this is the Chargers window right now because all of their good players, the Khalil Macks, the Joey Bosa's, they're still cheap. Guess what? Bosa's going to be his pay increase is happening. Khalil Mack same way, and then you got Allen, Williams, Derwin James just got paid. Oh yeah, and then you got to pay just like this is it. This is it for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Like the Chargers right now are the Knicks.
This is kind of the end of the Chargers cheap window.
When I say this is like the Patrick Ewing and the Knicks.
Yeah.
When they were playing the Bulls, right? Like this was your window. But unfortunately, you're Patrick Ewing and the Knicks, and the Chiefs are Jordan and the Bulls.
Yeah.
Man, that stinks for you.
Bummer.
I wonder, like the Eagles. Are the Eagles going to be, like Charles Barkley? Right? And, oh, hey, Charles, you had a great career. Fantastic. You were one of the, like Jalen Hurts, fantastic, awesome, tremendous. And you're Charles Barkley. You get there, you're not going to win anything. I wonder that.
Man, if Jalen Hurts became Charles Barkley, that'd be interesting.
Got there once.
Yeah, no,
I'm just saying.
No, I think that's not the worst way to put it. But like, it's fascinating to me that the entire AFC West, like, your purpose is to try and outdo the best team in the division, and the three teams, Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders, tried their best last offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw what that end product was. I'm a bit surprised that the Chargers and Raiders did not try to do more this offseason to try and build off of last season. And then, the Broncos are they're trying. I give them credit. They're trying. But I just don't know what they'll do to succeed. And then, when you look at draft classes as well, like that's what kind of the Chargers and Raiders can hope on a little bit, but even their additions on those areas weren't perfect. So I don't know. This is the Chargers window, because if they don't do it if they don't make a meaningful stride this year, you're kind of done with cheap Justin Herbert.
Yeah. Well,
which makes everything harder.
And what's fun is, their window has generated a whopping 0 playoff wins. Remember when the Jags came back and beat them in the playoffs?
That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
That was amazing.
Funniest thing I've ever witnessed.
That was hilarious. All righty, coming up next, everyone loves the list. Our favorite ghosts. Courtesy of Vinny Pasquantino's mom. Everyone loves the list. Topic today, your favorite ghosts. Very simple.
Shout out Vinny Pasquantino's mom for this idea.
Yes.
As we've talked a lot about ghosts today. Number 4 for me is simple. The good man, Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Okay.
Casper's cool. Casper's chill. I like Casper.
Okay. My number 4 is Space Ghost off of Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
I didn't think of Space Ghost.
Space
And
Ghost.
I wish I had.
Space Ghost.
Space Ghost is awesome.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
That's a great call out.
That was
this
for
list.
those of you wondering what that is, that was on Cartoon Network back in the day. And is Cartoon Network a thing still?
Yeah, it's still a thing.
Oh, I don't know. That was like evening stuff, and man, there were a bunch of nights where I had a few too many drinks and we were watching that. And that was hilarious.
Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. God love Space Ghost.
Space Ghost.
Number 3 for me. I wanted to pick one of my favorite ghosts from one of my favorite Christmas movies. Ghost of Christmas Present. Love the Ghost of Christmas Present. He's fun. He's lively. He's vibrant.
Why not past?
Because the past, a little gloomy, a little
Future's
very gloomy.
Okay. All right.
The present is fun because it's much more lively and upbeat. It's probably like Ghost of Christmas Present.
Technically, there are 4 of them that I'm going with next.
Okay.
But when I think of ghosts, I think of Blinky, Pinky, and Inky
Okay.
off of Pac-Man.
I will allow it. They can be a collective.
Well, okay, then I'll pick Blinky.
No, I just said I'll allow it. I said I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I just told you I'm cool with you picking them all.
I don't know who the 4th one is. I just know it's Blinky, Pinky, and Inky. I don't know who the 4th one is.
Minky or Finky or
I
some
don't know,
crap.
but
I don't know. It's probably some Inky
The Pac-Man
thing.
ghosts.
The Pac-Man ghosts are cool. No, I'm with you on that. Number 2 for me, Beetlejuice, the absolute legend.
That's a good one.
The absolute legend that is Beetlejuice.
That's a good one.
He's a king. We love Beetlejuice around here. And you got to keep breaking up the name. So you got to insert the words in the middle so when you say it every time, it doesn't have a problem.
Here's my number 2. Dang, Beetlejuice is a really good one.
I believe the text line says it was Dot. The last Pac-Man ghost was Dot. I assume that's what this text line is adding to
that. My number 2, watched this the other day because I have kids. Also, it's a good movie. It's The Ancestors off of Mulan.
Okay. Yeah.
They're the ghosts, when they summon together and they send Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
To help Mulan. The Ancestors.
What a good movie Mulan is. What a good movie.
Yes.
Fantastic. That's a fun movie.
Fantastic movie. The real live version, the Disney's
come live action.
Really good too.
Okay.
Good movie. I recommend it. Like it.
Number 1 for me is simple. It combines 2 great things, ghosts and dogs. Zero off of Never Before Christmas. Zero's the best ghost because he's also a dog. That's Jack Skellington's little ghost dog. Zero.
Drawing a complete blank here.
Wow.
I'm going to have to Google that one.
Yeah. Zero's great.
No, the answer to number 1 was the first ghost ever in my life. Casper. It's Casper.
Casper's a good one. He's a good pick. He's not top 4 material to me. Well, I mean, he's not top 1 material. He's top 4.
Casper, number 1 ghost. Like, not even a question. The other 3 can be discussed. Coming up next, though, we're going to talk with Jesse Newell on all things Chiefs. More college realignment discussion. We will get to that. This one's centering on the ACC. We will get to that. Little start bench cut, and we will be giving away some Royals tickets coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. No Royals baseball today. They're on the road in Chicago. That's right, sweet home Chicago for 3 games, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But right now, we're going to talk all things Chiefs as we head to our Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line. We talk with our good friend Jesse Newell from the Kansas City Star. Follow him on Twitter at Jesse Newell. Does a fantastic job. Jesse, we got a lot of Chiefs stuff to get to, but first I got to ask you a Royals question because they are your beloved Royals. I ask this question every single Tuesday to Fulton. It's very simple. Will the Royals lose 100 games? We play it during our odds maker section. So just give me percentage on what percentage you think the Royals will lose 100 games. What percentage is it?
Oh, not good. Not good. 10%.
So you think 10% they'll lose 100 games?
10%.
So you're high on them turning this puppy around.
Yeah, I actually am. You know, I mean, let's be honest. Like turning this puppy around has different definitions. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to go 500 or something, but no, I think you look at the advanced numbers. Some of the things out there, they've been bad in clutch situations. They've been bad in close games. They've turned some things around hitting wise since that first month when it was just horrible. It's not good pitching wise, obviously, and they're running out of options there. And Bubic's injury is no good, but I think you've seen some signs of life lately, and it's not going to take too much for them to avoid 100 losses. So no, I'll put it pretty low. I'm higher on the Kansas City Royals probably than the general public, even if this is going to go down as a disappointing season. How you slice it. I mean, they'd really have to do something crazy to not have this thing go down as a lost year.
Alrighty. Next, I do want to know your thoughts on the Royals and John Sherman wanting $1 billion in taxpayer money. Are you yay or nay when it comes to asking for taxpayer money? If you lived in Kansas City, which you don't, would you vote yes or no?
Yeah, I mean, as a matter of principle, you should probably just always be nay on that sort of thing, especially when you're talking about taxes and taking from people who potentially should not have to pay for a stadium. But unfortunately, it's sort of the cost of doing business now, as you see, where if people and municipalities don't pony up the money, then these owners go and seek other places out. So I will say, at least for the ownership group, that the sparse details they have given so far have said that they will give about half of the money, $1 billion for the stadium. If the taxpayers give $1 billion for the district around or whatever, we obviously know that owners are going to make money as an investment when they buy franchises unless something catastrophic happens. And John Sherman is in that club. I don't see him as the richest guy out there compared to other owners, but again, if you buy a house and it's worth $200,000 and in 10 years, you can sell it for $1.2 million, you're probably not going to be on the wrong end of the deal when everything is said and done. So it's a tough sell for me. And especially with the tough start that the Royals have had, it would be a very bad time to put this thing on the ballot, potentially have Royals fans, or not even Royals fans, just Kansas Cityans try to vote for this thing. But I think they're probably going to try to push this thing back and have it voted on next year when there's more optimism about the team and when potentially they can do some more things to garner optimism. But right now it's tough because the Chiefs are the king of the hill and everybody loves the Chiefs, and the Royals are struggling and have not been good for a while now. So it would be a tough sell for anybody in Kansas City, I think, and that's why they potentially are going to try to get this thing kicked back a little bit so that this year's season will not impact a vote for the future of the Royals potentially going downtown.
And then, in like a couple of years later, the Chiefs are going to ask for a couple $1 billion. So, it just, it all works out for the people.
And they will get it, Jake. They will get it.
Oh,
absolutely.
yes.
Whatever the city needs to sign up for the Chiefs. And that's the Royals' problem, right? I mean, right now it's a problem of don't tell me about salary cap problems or management problems or manager problems or coaching staff problems, because the team across the parking lot is doing pretty well for themselves in a very similar circumstance. Now, I know the NFL has different salary cap rules and all that sorts of things. We can argue about that for a long period of time, but the bottom line is the Royals have been lousy ever since 2015 now, and that's going on a decade. And so it's time for them to turn things around, at least show some signs of life, and at least make it so that if I start your radio program, the first question we're asking is not whether they're going to lose 100 games again this year or not.
We're talking with Jesse Newell from the Kansas City Star. You can follow him on Twitter at Jesse Newell. All right, Jesse, right now on May the 18th, are the Royals, or not the Royals, see, got me thinking Royals. Are the Chiefs right now on May 18th, are they better than when they took the field on, was it February 13th when they won the Super Bowl?
Probably about the same, which is a good thing, right? I mean, that's what Vegas is telling us. I mean, the Chiefs are favored in all their games so in 2023, at least as it stands right now. They're the favorites to win the Super Bowl. They are the team to beat if you're talking to most national media members. So, I mean, maybe they're touch better because I guess they were underdogs in that game in the Super Bowl to Philadelphia. So I guess the fact that they're the favorite now, maybe some of that is just positive momentum from people seeing that they won the Super Bowl, so they potentially think they can do it again. But yeah, I mean, that's the position they put themselves in, which is really nice. They can go out and sign a Jawan Taylor to solidify their right side. I mean, this isn't just Patrick Mahomes' contract and you hope you land a bunch of rookies. I mean, they're going out there and they're signing Charles Omenihu. They're going out and getting Drew Tranquill just because the linebackers market never materialized in free agency. So, yeah, I mean, probably break even, if not a little bit better. And that's a great thing to have happen when you already have one of the greatest coaches in the game, when you already have most likely the greatest quarterback in the game, to be able to just go into this thing every single year and feel like you have as good a chance as anybody else. That's a credit to the front office, and it's a credit to everybody out there to kind of keep this thing rolling and make sure that there's just not some monumental setback, because we've seen that with other quarterbacks, right? We've seen with Aaron Rodgers, they go up a year and then the next year they're lousy. And, Lamar Jackson has had ups and downs. And so the Chiefs just are kind of, they're not privy to that right now. They are just competing for themselves every single year. And it takes a lot of moves to make that happen. We can go back to the Tyreek Hill trade where they got all the draft picks and got younger, and that's a major part of this. But I do think the front office deserves credit, because at least at this moment, the Chiefs are in position where every single year they should go into it as one of the top 3 favorites to win it all. And that even includes after a year last year when they didn't win it all. So this is sort of the golden years for Kansas City Chiefs football, and a lot of credit to go around for making it that way and putting them in that position that they are in, where they go into the season and you feel like they're the favorites to win the Super Bowl.
If you were to say right now the biggest weakness position-wise, what would that be?
I'll still go with defensive line. Chris Jones is really good, but I think outside of him, you've got a lot of question marks still. I mean, George Karlaftis came on a little bit last year, but his PFF grades were not amazing, so you're still question mark there. Obviously, everybody loves Felix Anudike-Uzomah and the story that he had, going to K-State to the Chiefs. But he battled a hand injury in rookie minicamp, so will he be stalled a little bit? We don't know. I just mentioned the good signing the Chiefs made from Charles Omenihu. I would anticipate that he's probably going to face a suspension at some point this year based off of the NFL's conduct policy. Same thing we saw last year with Willie Gay and also Frank Clark having to sit out some games because of that. And, the 49ers are kind of a team that no matter what player they have seems to produce. So you kind of wonder how much of that was him and how much of it was just being put in an amazing system with an amazing coach there. And then the interior, they drafted DeAndre Coburn. I really like that pick for them in the 6th round out of Texas, but the interior still has some question marks as well. I mean, who is lining up next to Chris Jones? And if you're relying on a 6th round rookie to take it, I mean, I know Mike Dana is back, but he had a really disappointing season last year. So I'd still go with that position. I think there are question marks at wide receiver. That's what probably most people would tell you out there. But I just think that the Mahomes factor and the Andy Reid factor means you might not need as much there. You just don't. I mean, they scheme guys that are wide open, whether they're tight ends or running backs or receivers. I mean, heck, Jerick McKinnon was the AFC Offensive Player of the Month for December last year, and he could barely find a free agent contract out there for him this offseason. I mean, that's just the power of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And so I just think that they really can lift the tide when it comes to the offense. On defense, a little bit tougher to do. So I'll still say defensive line, just that they have some unanswered questions there, and figure that they still might address that. Maybe in training camp, they get 2 or 3 weeks into it. Frank Clark decides that's enough training camp to sit out, and they sign into a cheap deal where he can be not only a guy that can produce on the field, but can help out some of the rookies and younger players along the way too. That seems like something pretty reasonable to me, but as it stands right now, that's the position I'd look at and say the Chiefs have the most work to do there, at least to develop or to show that they're as solid there as some other positions.
Jesse Newell is our guest on the Floating Place Wine and Spirits phone line. Jesse covers the Chiefs for the Kansas City Star. You can follow Jesse on Twitter at Jesse Newell. Speaking of that defense, and you make those comments about the defensive line, Jesse, the Chiefs have seemed to have done, starting last season, a lot to try and overall this defensive unit as a whole, make it younger, faster, more athletic. And a big mark to that last season was their investment in the secondary, drafting all their young cornerbacks, bringing in Justin Reed, kind of a younger player, and they have continued that trend of getting younger in the secondary going into this season. The secondary did take some steps forwards last year. Guys like Trent McDuffie performed incredibly well. Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams surprised some people. Going into year 2 with some of those young guys, and of course the group headline being by L'Jarius Sneed, what do you think that secondary will be like this season with so many now second-year players going to be asked to take those big roles? Do you think they can continue their positive upward trend going into year 2?
Yeah, you would think so. And that's one of the positions I'm optimistic about with the Chiefs, just because they not only had young players there last year, super young players, but they had guys perform. And you mentioned all of them. I mean, you can go Trent McDuffie or Brian Cook, who they drafted at safety, or Jalen Watson, the revelation of the 7th round pick, or Joshua Williams, who developed throughout the year and kind of split time with Jalen Watson there. And you add to it, took a couple guys in the draft too. Chamari Connor, who was going to be a special teams ace, it seems like, out of the 4th round right away for them. But, he could get some looks at both corner, nickel, safety, kind of some versatility there. And then Nick Jones they took late in the draft in the 7th round. And at this point, if a 7th round cornerback is taken by the Chiefs, it sure seems like you got to at least raise your eyebrow to think about what they see in that potential guy because of the contributions they've gotten. Because, a year ago, they were going to be relying on a guy, other guys out there. And instead, the rookies just all stepped up. You know what I mean? The rookies just, okay, Rashad Fenton, going to trade you away just because, there's no need for you here anymore because these other guys have been really good. And so, you add all that to L'Jarius Sneed, who had a breakout season a year ago, kind of that versatile player, that chess piece that Steve Spagnuolo loves to have back there who can blitz off the edge as well. And I think you do have to have high expectations. A lot of that too, we talk about this so much with the Chiefs, is that they have a really good coaching staff, and Dave Merritt has done a great job with the secondary. And it seems like he and Andy Heck, it just feels like Andy Heck with the offensive line and Dave Merritt, with the secondary, just seems like every guy that goes there, the Chiefs seem to develop. They seem to make better. And if you have that in your organization, in your system, boy, it's just such a nice trump card to have because you just feel like, it seems like Chamari Connor was a reach in the 4th round, but I also feel like he's going to contribute to the Chiefs defense. Those two things can both be equal just because you feel like if the Chiefs bring a guy in and they bring him and develop them, that they're going to end up panning out. And that's a really nice place to be for the Chiefs. And that's the place you feel like they're in with the secondary, where I would consider that the strength of the defense, just based off what they've done in the past and based off the youth there and based off the development you think they're going to take.
The Chiefs have made what I'd call kind of several mid-level free agent signings that, don't really count as splash moves and might not be starters, but are guys that can bring something to your team in very specific ways. One of the ones that fascinates me on defense is the signing of linebacker Drew Tranquill, who spent, so much time with the Los Angeles Chargers, is a really good coverage linebacker, which is something where the Chiefs have kind of had a deficiency for quite a while now, and is kind of the, one negative weak spot of guys like Nick Bolton and even to a lesser extent Willie Gay. What did you think of the Drew Tranquill signing this offseason, and where do you think he slots in role-wise amongst the linebacker group coming up here this season? Because a guy like Nick Bolton seems to be where Drew Tranquill might take some of his snaps, but then again, Nick Bolton seems to play every single defensive snap for the Chiefs. So what do you think Tranquill's role will be this season?
Yeah, we asked Brett Beach about that a few weeks ago, and his answer was kind of interesting. I think this was just a totally buy low move for the Chiefs. They just couldn't believe he was still out there, and they got him for whatever it was, $4 or $5 million for a 1-year deal. And so, the fit is difficult because a lot of times in base packages, you're only going to have 2 linebackers on the field, as you were mentioning. And that last year was Nick Bolton and Willie Gay. Those 2 guys were on the field a lot of snaps, but you sort of, when you're the Chiefs, you sort of try to avoid the catastrophic, right? And the catastrophic sometimes happen. Either it could happen if Willie Gay's injured, or Nick Bolton goes out and is injured. He had a lot of snaps a year ago and, leading tackler now in Chiefs history for that single season. So you're sort of covering yourself. But if they're all healthy, I don't know how it works out, to be completely honest with you, because I don't think Willie Gay's going to be a guy that's taken too nicely to somebody coming in and taking his playing time. And Nick Bolton is a guy that never left the field a year ago. It's the green dot and is a communicator on defense. So I would assume that the Chiefs would come out, if all those guys are healthy, with some sort of rotation and sort of let Willie Gay and Drew Tranquill battle it out for those snaps. We saw last year, even when Willie Gay was totally healthy, they had Darius Harris come in for snaps and had him rotate in certain series just to sort of keep guys fresh. So I think in a perfect world, you set up a rotation, kind of open up some, a competition there, and it's mostly between Willie Gay and Drew Tranquill. But as you mentioned, if Nick Bolton goes down with injury, Drew Tranquill can step in there, and it sort of just raises the floor for the Chiefs. It allows them to say, okay, if this bad scenario happens, we're automatically covered because this is a guy you can slot in. And so I think it was a really nice buy low pickup for the Chiefs. Where he fits in exactly, I'm not even sure they know yet, but it's a good player to have at a very low salary, and a guy that I think got overlooked in the free agency process, and the Chiefs probably never thought they'd bid for, but when they got him, they're probably going to be pretty happy to have him.
All right, Jesse. My last two for the road. Last 2 questions I've got for you. One, how hard are you lobbying the Kansas City Star for them sending you over to Germany, and will you get to go?
I don't know if I'll get to go, but I have started to look at the renewal of the passport process. I figure maybe if I just hint to them, hey, I renewed my passport, guys. Just saying. So yeah, very hopeful. I know they've sent guys in the past. I know Trez Taylor covered the England game when they played over there. So hopeful for sure. And I know the Chiefs have a bye week afterwards, so maybe can stick around a little while. But yeah, maybe the hints will be dropped. I don't know if the budget allows it or not, but if it does, I'm going to be the first one in line.
Alrighty, and lastly, we had this comment and discussion yesterday. What is your number one condiment that you use?
Number one condiment?
Yeah, like a condiment, like
Oh yeah, no, I know.
or-
Yeah.
or-
The number one I use is straight up no fat-free mayonnaise. I eat a lot of deli meat during the day. It's perfect. You can buy it and get a little sandwich going. And so then I'm even like the lazy late 30s guy who's got the squeeze bottle, so you don't even have to get the.
oh yeah, that's
nice
called efficiency.
door.
That's efficiency.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, I go through mayonnaise more than anything else. It's nice and low carb too. Don't have to feel guilty about it or anything. So mayonnaise is what I go through the most. Maybe not my favorite condiment, but definitely the one that I tear through and have to get at the grocery store more than any other.
Alrighty, you can only give me a yes or no answer to this question. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Is butter a condiment? I don't want a description, Jesse. This is like you're getting deposed right now. This is yes or no.
One of you guys is going to hate me no matter what I say, so that's the problem.
You see what I put up with on a daily basis, Jesse?
I'll say yes.
Okay.
I'm very happy for you, Fulton, 'cause
I just
figured
needed
that
the
you're the one
yes.
that said yes.
I just needed the yes.
He knew, though, correctly that you were the one that had said yes.
Jesse, you are the best. We appreciate you, my friend. And let me know if there's anything I can do to help you get to go to Germany, okay?
There you go. I'm Mr. Butter for you, so I'm sure you've got a favor left for me there too.
Jesse, thank you so much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Jesse Newell, Kansas City Star. We got to somehow get him to Germany. That'd be pretty sweet.
It would be fun.
So unfortunately, I don't know really anybody at the Kansas City Star.
Yeah, I ain't got the kind of backing to help him out.
I
there
don't got
too
the
much.
connection there, but
No.
I hope Jesse does get to go to Frankfurt and cover the Chiefs there at Bayern Munich Stadium. That would be fun. Coming up, the latest news on conference realignment and a little start, bench, and cut. Mic'd up on this Victory Thursday as the Kansas City Royals took care of business yesterday out in San Diego. Jake and Fulton along with Fulton Caster. No Royals baseball today. When you win a series, you get an off day. That's basically how the baseball world works, I think, because when the Royals have won a series, they should get rewarded for it. So no Royals baseball today. We'll talk a little bit more Royals coming up here in just a little bit. Got start, bench, and cut. And be listening because we will give away Royals tickets because they did win a series. We got to celebrate that, right? Got to celebrate the wins in life. Got to celebrate the wins in life. Because sometimes, like the Royals, they don't happen very often. This is why we are so particular with the Chiefs, because when they lose, we get very angry.
Yeah.
As always, let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on the text line, 785-272-9429. Our Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line as well. Go to YouTube. You can check us out, as well as our website, 580wibw.com. Well, score update from the PGA Championship. Jon Rahm, tough go of it today. He is 4 over for the reigning Masters champion. He has bogeyed 5 of 6 holes.
Oh, boy.
Jon Rahm swear he me, man. How about that? Right now, your leader, like we all expected, Corey Connors and Keegan Bradley tied atop with Scotty Scheffler. I said Jon Rahm or Scotty Scheffler would win it.
Yeah.
So far, looking pretty smart. Bryson DeChambeau, 2 under par. He hit a guy with a golf ball today. Colin Morikawa at even. Brooks Koepka 1 over. JT 1 over. Cam Smith 1 over. They're all in good spot because this is going to be a tough track. Rory McIlroy 2 over today. Gary Woodland 3 over today. So just got to stay in the hunt for this. Before we get to a little conference realignment, did find out over the top of the hour break that Dan is on team Ghosts Are Not Real. So, Fulton, you are flying solo on the ghost aspect.
That's fine.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's not a big deal, but the myself, Dan, and Brendan are on team no ghosts. You, Vinny Pasquantino, Vinny Pasquantino's mom, team ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. Wanted to get that. Also, Bradley J. So it's about 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
There we go. Fulton, are you ready to get the latest news on the conference realignment world?
Let's do it.
According to Sports Illustrated, quote, "We're not unified. We're unified until someone offers a school more to go somewhere else. Everyone is going to grab it end quote. That is according to one ACC source. That's basically college athletics in general right now, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like KU, if you can go somewhere better, go.
Yeah.
K-State, if you can go somewhere better, go. Like this isn't a I look out for numero uno situation. All right. Because these decisions are going to be historic, what's going to end up happening to you decisions, whether you're going to be a have or a have not. So right now, Sports Illustrated says this is your current ACC status, situationally and temporarily unified, with all parties trying to make the best of the current arrangement while yet eyeing the exit doors. The difference, though, between the ACC and the Pac-12 is at least they're upfront about it. That's the difference. Everybody in the Pac-12 is on the same, oh, everything's fine. Everything's all good. Hey, we're going to have a new TV deal coming soon. It's all
the Pac-12 is going to lie to your
fantastic.
face and stab you in the back. The ACC is at least going like, no, you see where the knives are.
Yeah. Well put. Sports Illustrated reported on Monday that half of the football-playing ACC schools had met in various combinations to discuss potential exit strategies for richer pastures. The 7 with the wandering eye. Sounds like a emo band. 7 with the wandering eye. Clemson.
Man, I saw them at Coachella like a couple years ago. Bangers.
Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, NC State, Virginia, Virginia Tech. The 7 on the other side. So this is Adele singing Hello from the Other Side. Boston College, Duke, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Wake Forest. So that's where the 7 is. Notice the 2 that are kind of important. Louisville and Pittsburgh.
Kind of interesting thoughts there.
The others, Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, NC State, Virginia, and Virginia Tech. They are trying to coerce, bully, blackmail, persuade, intimidate the others on leaving. If I am Boston College, Syracuse, Wake Forest, Duke, I am trying to keep the band together. Wake Forest, man, ain't nobody wants you.
No one wants Wake Forest.
Syracuse,
No one wants you.
No.
Go to the Big East again.
Boston College? Ain't nobody want you. No. Nobody cares about Boston College. Where's Boston College located?
Is it not Boston?
I don't think it's Boston.
Are they lying? Are they liars? Hold on, are they liars?
I thought that was something more specific. Yeah, I was right.
Oh, we're getting that specific.
Yeah, Chestnut Hill. That's what. Yeah, Chestnut Hill. Yes, correct. Well, it'd be like saying, "Are you from like the UMKC? You know, those type of people. You know, like, oh, are you from Kansas City? You know, and it'd be like something smaller, that type of thing. So yeah.
All right, so now we're getting to the arguments of what suburbs can qualify as just
Correct.
saying you're part of the actual city.
Correct.
So can Brendan not say he's from Chicago? Does he say from LaGrange Park?
I don't know. Ask Brendan. Either way, not trying to get into that discussion right now.
I kind of am now.
Boston College, Duke, because their football is so bad, Louisville or Syracuse and Wake Forest. They don't have an option. Wake Forest, Syracuse, Boston College are basically Wazoo, Oregon State, Cal. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Duke is probably a lot like Stanford.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got one pretty good thing, one very thing.
Yep. Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina. They are Washington and Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're left with the Georgia Tech, Louisville, Pittsburgh, are Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado.
Yeah. Where they could go smaller, or if they fit in the right spot, they can go big.
So Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, NC State, Virginia, Virginia Tech are the 7 that are looking for greener pastures. They are the 7 with the wandering eye.
I'm making a band now. I don't have any ounce of musical talent. I'm making a band now.
I'll sing backup.
Cool.
All right.
You can part of the 7 with the wandering eye. We need 7 people to win.
We actually need like 5 people who actually can play a musical instrument.
Well, we'll figure it out.
So that's fascinating to me that Pittsburgh and Louisville are not part of that group. If I'm Brett Yormark and you feel like Louisville and Pittsburgh can be in the Big 12, I feel like you gotta, if you want to keep it secret, use somebody else's phone, get a burner, shoot them a U up text, say Louisville, Pittsburgh, what'd it do? Now, this is the other interesting aspect of what could end up happening in the ACC, according to Sports Illustrated. These meetings help clear a path toward uneven revenue distribution. That sounds ominous in terms of conference harmony, but a performance-based shift away from equal slices of the revenue pie is workable. If your school succeeds at the college football playoff level in football and the NCAA tournament in hoops, you make more money than those who don't. This is the scary thing about this, is I talked about this a couple days ago. This is exactly what the Big 12 did when it catered towards Oklahoma and Texas. Eventually, no matter how much you cater towards them,
they'll leave.
They are going to go with what is best for them. And in this situation, what is best for potentially Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, is to go to the Big 10 or the SEC. I am a realist. I understand that in this piece, the ACC is $30 million behind the Big 10 and the SEC in the arms race. I understand the Big 12 will never, ever get to the same number as the Big 10 and the SEC. There's no realistic way. All I want the Big 12 to do is still have a seat at the table and try to get as much as they can and survive. That is where I think some national people view the Big 12 as, well, the Big 12, well, they're not going to get to the SEC or the Big 10. No kidding. We just don't want to be Washington State, Oregon State, Boston College. That's what I want KU and K-State. I don't want KU and K-State to end up being Wazoo, Oregon State, or Cal, or Boston College, or Wake Forest, or Syracuse. I don't want them to end up being in the spot of where it is now the American Conference and you're playing South Florida and you're playing Wichita State. Like, you don't want that if you're KU or K-State. So you try to get as much money as you be number 3. Try to be, that in this situation, it's the middle child. You got the number 1 is the SEC. Then you got the Big 12, and then the youngest would be the Big 10. Where, it's always the one in the middle always gets screwed, right?
Yeah, you want to try and it's that weird balance. It's that balance point of like, you need to find a way to survive, and there's never usually a good out of survival in being overly passive.
Yes.
But unless you have a strong positioning, you can't be overly aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And so those teams we're talking about, those teams that are kind of in that middle point, they have to make sure that they don't sit too far back on their heels. I think it is worth it for them not to start trying to be overly aggressive, trying to maneuver and get out, because I think that could actually backfire a little bit. But, they can't just sit around, because if you sit around, you're screwed.
That's what happened to the Big 12.
Yeah.
And they tried. They tried to put a Band-Aid on a broken leg.
Yeah.
With, okay, Texas, we'll help you out. We'll give you this money. No, Texas and Oklahoma took their money and made more money than everybody else in the Big 12. And then eventually they saw a lot more money with the SEC. And they didn't. They did the opposite of what the ACC, they did it right behind everybody's back. Everybody, those two schools, Joe Castiglione, Chris Del Conte, the presidents, all of that went behind the back of everybody and said, we don't care. We're going to do what's in the best interest of us. So we're going to do this. That is what, when Clemson can leave to go to the SEC, they're going to do it. So congratulations. You staved off your conference from crumbling for a couple years. And maybe that's the best. Maybe the hope is, if you're the SEC or if you're the ACC and you're those schools and you're thinking, okay, maybe something else will change, right? Because everything changes, right? Everybody thought when the ACC signed that deal up until 2036 with the ACC network, wow, they're locked in. They're in a great situation. Fantastic.
But then you see all the other moving parts around
hello,
it.
variable change. Oklahoma and Texas decided to bolt. USC and UCLA decided to bolt. Now it's like, oh my goodness, we're locked in this thing forever. So Sports Illustrated said, how much money are we talking about? Maybe $10 million a year for the high achievers in football. That's not insignificant, but it's also not enough to eliminate the chasm between the Big 12 and the SEC. That's the thing that the ACC needs to know, is that eventually, if Clemson and Florida State join a conference and North Carolina wants to join a conference, if they can rework the television deals again and end up with more money, they're going to leave the ACC. And that's where I think Brett Yormark understands it. He doesn't see it as an athletic director. He doesn't see it as a president. He sees it as from the grand scheme of things, more like we see it, okay? Reach out to those people in the ACC.
Give them a call.
Say, hey, here's what I'm thinking of. Here's what we could do.
If you end up at a spot where, maybe you could, guys, get out of this. We have a spot for you.
Instead of, because right now, when the Big 12 gets its new check, it's going to be third ahead of the ACC. You add, the dream would be, North Carolina, Florida State, Miami, to be honest with you. That would be my dream. I don't know if Clemson's going to keep doing it, but maybe Clemson is. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But North Carolina, Florida State, and Miami, maybe that's the dream. You pair them up. There's your pod there with those four. Central Florida, Miami, Florida State, North Carolina.
They're on their own little
and you got your deal
southeast corner.
On that side. So maybe you throw it out there if you're Brett Yormark. See if that is going to end up working. But the interesting thing about this is there a spot for them? Now, there is the Big 12. I guarantee you, if Florida State was like, we're out of here, we're going to try to make whatever we can. Florida State, I think, would add to the Big 12. I think you'd add more to it, okay? Same thing with North Carolina. That's not where they want to go. They don't want to go to the Big 12. They don't. And maybe they'll wait and they'll hold out, and maybe they'll end up in the SEC or the Big 10. Is there an outlet for them? But does someone like, we know Florida State and North Carolina and Clemson are going to be fine. That's why they're part of the group that wants to bolt. But if you're Louisville and you're Pittsburgh, and you are among the seven that right now doesn't, those schools right now need to look at what is the best for our future. Where can we land and make the most money? Is it stay here or is it leave? I think Louisville and Pittsburgh realize they will never join the Big Ten. I don't think the SEC wants them. So are you going to stay in what could be a sinking ship or go to one that might be a little bit more stable?
Yeah.
If I'm Arizona State, Colorado, Utah, I look at this going, crap. What if the Big 12 doesn't want us? What if they get to the ACC? What if the Big 12 says, look, we're expanding, and once we get to the number of teams that we want, we're done. North Carolina, Clemson are going to hold out for the SEC and the Big 12, or SEC and the Big 10, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So if you are in this situation and you are Pittsburgh and Louisville, do you act quicker? Do you act and say, man, we need to be a part of them, so we get locked in? Then potentially, like Utah on social media is putting their nose up towards the Big 12 right now.
Yeah.
Oh, Big 12, Schmig 12. We don't care. You might care if the Big 12 adds Louisville and Pittsburgh and Arizona State, because I still think Oregon and Washington are gone. I think they are gone to the Big 10. What are you going to do now? Your arrogance ended up costing you. Sports Illustrated says here, if it comes down to it, there are two potential outcomes. The schools risk financial ruin to get out of the league and fail in what assuredly will be a massive legal battle, or they win and the fault line split the ACC in half. The league would be scooped up by the Big 10, the SEC, and likely the Big 12, with the Big East football reincarnation that brings the Northeast schools back together. That's why the stakes in the ACC 7-on-7 scrimmage are so high. At least now, after some honest exchange in Florida at the meetings, everyone in the league knows where they stand and where their brethren stand. Situationally and temporarily unified. They're only unified by a contract, but if that contract can be broken, they are gone. And if you are one of those, to me, really two schools, Louisville and Pittsburgh are going to end up determining, I think, what occurs in the ACC, because we know Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, NC State, Virginia, and Virginia Tech, they want to be gone. And I would take, honestly, if I had to choose, I would take any of those. Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina all probably want the SEC or the Big 10. That leaves you NC State, Virginia, and Virginia Tech. Would you rather have NC State, Virginia, Virginia Tech, or Louisville, Pittsburgh, those two? Like NC State, Virginia, Virginia Tech, one of those three schools, or Louisville, Pittsburgh? What's the hierarchy there?
Louisville and Pitt are probably at the top for me, because I think overall they work real well. Like, the only one that'd be closer to the bottom for me is Virginia Tech, because I don't know. They're not as strong of a football brand as they used to be. Though, I mean, they have all their history, but even then, and then their basketball brand is just not great. Whereas, again, all the others, I think, just add a little more branding, a little more weight in at least one sport, if not two. I probably would still put Louisville and Pitt up there. Out of those second three, Virginia's number one for me. Like, if Virginia wanted to come party, I'd bring the Cavs on board.
Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina are obviously the top four.
Yeah.
And I understand that. They don't want the Big 12 eyeing leaving. They're eyeing the SEC or the Big 10.
Yeah.
Clemson, Florida State, Miami, the SEC, more than likely North Carolina, the Big 10. It kind of fits a little bit better for them. I mean, that's what I look at. And if you're one of those schools, if Clemson, Florida State, that's why I think NC State, Virginia Tech are on this on the 7, where it's like, look, maybe they think of themselves a lot like Utah. We can go to the SEC. We can go to the Big 10.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to tell you this right now. No. If the Big 10 is not bringing in NC State, Virginia, or Virginia Tech, zero chance of that.
Yeah.
That's not happening. So this is who's going to be the one squad. And we still don't have, from the text line, Georgia Tech, anyone. I think Georgia Tech would be a great one for the Big 12.
They would. Georgia Tech, I actually think they got scooped up or going to the SEC. they fit well. I know that whole branding, like football power thing, does not fit in well. Georgia Tech's situation, like where they sit situationally, all fits in with the SEC.
Yeah.
And they're buoyed by they play Georgia every year.
And they're in Atlanta.
Yep.
They're in Atlanta.
They're in Atlanta. They play Georgia every year. They're in that kind of SEC territory. They do, like, I know everyone properly should hear that and go, man, Georgia Tech football in the SEC. They fit other areas so well that I think the SEC would be like, if they needed just to like add a team just to bring in, not like we like, you know, if they needed someone to come with Clemson, let's say someone to come with Clemson and Florida State, like if they wanted a third team or they ended up picking up 3 and they needed a 4th. GT is the team they would grab because they just fit they fit every other piece so well. And then to the thought from the same editions of 5, it says, you know, would Georgia, you know, thinking Georgia wouldn't want them. Georgia and Georgia Tech mutually benefit each other. Like they play each other every year consistently for forever because it mutually benefits them.
Well, also, if the powers that be in the SEC want them in, they're going to be in. Just look at what happened. Texas A&M did not want Texas
and look
in
what
the
happened.
SEC.
I mean, you could
and it was a unanimous vote.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I mean, same idea to Georgia Tech and Georgia could apply to Florida State and Florida. Florida might not want Florida State in there. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen. I mean, it's just the way it goes. I still firmly believe if Georgia Tech goes anywhere, I really do think the SEC might be where they end up. It feels weird. It feels incredibly weird. But I mean, there's been bad football teams in the SEC. Look at Vanderbilt. I look at Vanderbilt. And honestly, Vanderbilt is a great like analog for Georgia Tech in the SEC. Very respected academic institution with usually a more niche focus. Football is not that great. Their other sports are pretty okay. Like, if your point is the SEC wouldn't add a bad football team, they keep Vanderbilt around. Like they let Vanderbilt hang around for forever, and Vanderbilt's never been Vanderbilt's never historically been great. So that's what I think as far as Georgia Tech goes. But I mean, hey, if someone else wanted them, take them.
So that's the latest news on the college realignment world. Coming up next, a little start, bench, and cut. All righty, start, bench, cut. All right.
All right.
I got two of them that are going to make you think, but I don't know the third.
Okay.
So I went with one that I think. So the Royals.
Okay.
D&D
Yes.
and Pokemon.
Okay.
Start, bench, cut.
You're asking me to start bench cut 3 of my favorite things.
Yeah.
This is mean. This is rude.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love all these things dearly.
Yeah.
I truly do.
Mm-hmm.
No, but really thinking about for even about half a second. Start the Royals, bench D&D, cut Pokemon.
Start the Royals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I have a lot, like those other two activities give me a lot of joy, and they're the primary things I do that are not sports related.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot accurately describe the emotional connection on my soul the Royals have.
Yeah. Oh, we can tell.
Like, and as all of you can tell, like as it has become the running joke around here. But no, like the Royals hold a very specific place in my heart that always puts them number one for me. No matter how much they make me sad and make me angry and make me want to, walk off into a deep, dark forest, never to return, which is more often than I'd like them to make me feel that way.
Gotcha.
But that's where I am with the Royals, which is why, like, if the Royals ever moved, if for whatever reason Sherman would make them move, again, I don't think he ever would. If they did, you'd be like, you think the Oakland A's fans who start protesting their team is moving is bad? Oh, I would need 2 months off to spend an entire 2 months protesting outside Kauffman Stadium by myself. Do not take this team from me. And then I honestly would probably still find a way to like them once they move, because I can't sever that. Can't do it.
Oh, I could.
You could. I can't.
I could.
I can't. Can't do it. Can't do
So
it.
there's literally nothing that they could do.
Again, remember we talked about this with Dan a little bit yesterday. It would require off the field things
So not
to
even
such a magnitude.
Not even moving. St. Louis, the Rams going to LA. You'd still be a Rams fan?
If I had this little connection to them, I probably would be.
Really? Oh,
and especially
man.
if no new team comes to fill the vacuum. Let's say the Royals leave town. If no other team comes to Kansas City for baseball,
I don't think
I got nothing else to fill the vacuum. What am I going to do? Become a Rockies fan? Trade one misery for another?
At least,
no offense, Dan.
At least that one team is loyal. Man, she gonna walk out on you, and you're just gonna let her go?
It's a little different when it comes to baseball teams, sports teams. It's a little different.
I'm out. I'm out. If the Royals ever leave because for some odd reason, adios.
And there's other circumstances too. If it was an A situation, my owner was actively tanking just so they could lead. If it was a major league situation, which is what literally the A's are doing. The A's are real life major league is what they're doing right now. If they in that situation, I would stop until the team gets sold. And it'd be in protest of that ownership. I would still love the team. It'd be no, I'm not going to give this ownership my money. Even though one person's dollar cannot make that much of an impact, blah, blah, blah. That would be the point there.
I got you.
But, that's kind of the long form of me and the Royals. Start, bench, cut, Jake. Golf theme. We don't usually golf around here when it comes to these types of games.
Basically 4 times a year.
Yeah, basically. Patrick Cantley, Xander Schauffele, Max Homa.
Can I ask a more specific, is
sure.
it on who I think's going to win? Do I like the golfer?
On any given week, who would you ride with most weeks? Who would, rank them by who you would ride with most weeks of thinking they will have the best weekend?
Okay, so to win.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, if you had to just blindly pick one guy and go, most weekends, that's the guy I'd ride with to win this week.
All righty. I would probably see, because Cantlay's the answer on winning, but he's annoying. Right?
Yeah, we're taking off the field stuff out of this.
Yeah.
This is off the course stuff out of this.
All righty. See, but the other thing too is if it's a non-major, I'm riding with Homa.
Okay.
But that dude stinks in the major.
That got to put that math in there, because maybe in this week you're rolling with, maybe it's a major week.
Homa,
If I told you for like a 3-month stretch, you could only bet on this one golfer to win.
Man.
Which I would never actually do, because you would start losing so much money.
Right now, if you look at the world golf rankings, they're all really close.
Yeah, they're 4, 5, and 6. That's why I picked those 3.
Yeah, they are. Wow,
yep, that's why I picked them. That's entirely the basis of this question.
And none of them have won a major.
Nope.
This is actually the hardest one that you've given me.
The perfect trio for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will start. If it was for majors, Homa would be my cut, because he just does not do well in majors.
Yeah.
He does.
So we're taking Homa overall. Could be a non-major weekend.
I will.
I do enjoy how much made you think with this one. I'm delighted.
Yeah, most of the time I'm pretty fast.
I got you finally. I finally got you locked up. I pulled the pitch out of the bag.
I will go with start Homa, because I think eventually he'll get it.
Okay.
Start Homa, bench Cantlay, cut Shoffley, because Xander hasn't done great in the majors here recently, and trying to think of the last time he won. Yeah, he was tied for 10th, but the last inside the top 10 was 2021 US Open. I think Homa's going to turn it around. So I'll go Homa, Cantlay, Shoffley. That's what I'm going to do.
Fair enough.
If it was for regular tournament, it would be that in a heartbeat. For majors, I would go Cantlay, Shoffley, and then cut Homa.
Yeah, because Max Homa cannot play in majors.
He cannot play in the majors right now. Let's see. Xander, I don't think is teed off yet. Nope. Has Cantlay? Nope. Yeah, so they haven't teed off yet. We'll have to see how that is going to happen. Scotty Scheffler just finished up. Gary Woodland fired 3 over 73, so he's going to have hopefully the people in the second wave are not going to be very good today, or he's going to have to shoot a much better score tomorrow. Scheffler and Connors are in, though, at 3 under par. Coming up next, we'll get to some Royals baseball here on their off day. The Padres, they are off today. When does Drew Waters come up and play? And if Drew Waters comes up, does JBJ go bye-bye?
I'll give you my two answers to that. One, I think barring any setbacks, Drew Waters back on Monday. When they come back home to Kansas City, Drew Waters is back with the big league club.
Because was he in the lineup today?
For Omaha, let me look real quick. I know he was there yesterday and looked good yesterday.
Yeah, he had 2 hits.
He had 2 hits in the first inning alone. I don't know if they've released their lineup today. There's no Storm Chasers lineup up yet. So I do not know. I assume he's playing today. Because that was the big deal of yesterday. Yesterday was the first time he played in back-to-back games.
Correct.
Which swing looked good. And as long as the body's holding up this series, they'll bring him back, I think, Monday is the plan.
Yeah, they play at 6:30.
I will say this. Jackie Bradley Jr. is not who gets sent out.
Your boy.
It's Nate Eaton.
And he should.
Oh, correctly so.
Yeah.
I love Nate, and I think long-term, he can make it as a 4th outfielder. I really can. Not right now. He needs a couple months in Omaha. And I am like, because he looked good in like his 6 games back in Omaha before he had to come back up. He needs 2 months away from the big leagues, of like away from the pressure, away from the different lifestyle, the different arenas, stuff like that. He needs gone. He needs some time.
Okay. He has him. Here's what's crazy about this.
Mhm.
He has struck out 21 times.
Yeah.
This year.
Mhm.
But has improved his strikeout rate.
Yeah, because he stopped striking out as much.
He's now
It was like
striking
47% of the time.
21 out of 49. He was over 50.
Yes, he was. Which was unsustainable, and I knew like eventually it would all start to even out. And like his timing is getting better. Like he's making more contact, but it's just he needs a couple months. He really does.
Have you ever seen? I don't think I've ever seen this. I don't think I've ever seen anybody who's got 50 at bats who's ever had an OPS of 177.
Oh, buddy, I'm sure I could dig you up some real bad players. I'm honestly think I could probably maybe find you something. But no, and that's why Nate Eaton's going to get sent down.
Yeah.
Like Nate needs some time.
Yeah.
When Kyle Isbell is healthy, Andrew Waters is healthy at the same time, then Jay Bradley Jr. is going to get his walking papers.
That won't be for another month.
Probably. I've not heard any like I think the original timeline was going to be like 6 weeks on his hamstring. Like he really tweaked that thing up. And then plus being told you're a center fielder has to run all the time and the starting and the stopping and all that, which was just a bummer because Kyle's really starting to figure some things out when he got hurt. But no, I think Drew's back Monday. And I think when he is, Nate Eaton gets sent out. I think that's going to be the plan because it clears up an outfield spot. That's your least performing outfielder. And then Drew and Jackie Bradley Jr. rotate. I need you and everybody else to be prepared. When Drew comes back, he's probably going to get a lot of off days early.
And
they're going to slowly work him in. Like,
and that was directed at me.
I know, but it was halfway. But I know you
okay
understand that
I'm all right
concept.
with that.
This is more to also Royals fans in general. Drew might come back Monday. He might not play half the week. And the point is, they're going to ease him back in because the last thing they want is to just be like, all right, Drew, you're back out there and you're playing for 14 straight days. And then he strains his oblique again and he's gone for 2 months. Like, they're going to baby step this in because obliques can be such a pain and a mess of an injury. But no, I think Drew's back Monday, and I think Daniel Lynch makes the start in this next turn of the rotation. I would not be surprised if Daniel Lynch is your starter Sunday.
Yeah. Because
it is TBD. They are not committed to Brad Keller making that start.
I do hope that they try the Carlos Hernandez opener again. I hope they give that a legit
and that's kind of why I'm kind of fine if Daniel takes Brad's spot and then maybe you do that in the 5th starter spot again because it worked. But I also get it if they go, no, we want to try and have a real starter in that 5th spot. Like, and like if their point of like a real starter is like, we want to let Austin Cox try to be a
Why
starter,
not?
we want to let Drew Parrish or blah blah blah.
Why not just have Austin Cox be the bulk guy behind?
I'd be cool with that. I would be cool. I
Okay.
actually would. Like if they were like, you know what we're gonna try is Carlos opens and Austin Cox to build you up. You're gonna be a bulk guy because he did 2 great innings in his start and his only major league appearance. I'm cool, but my overall point is I'm cool if what they try to do for the rotation is just let young guys start. Like I think an opener is a thing they could consider. I want them though to try. Do you just have normal starters in your system? And you might not. You truly might not. And then we can try the things. But I would be a fan of Daniel. I think Daniel Lynch gets a run this next time through. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Sunday. If it's not Daniel Sunday and they're not committing to Keller, I don't know what the plan would be.
When did Lynch pitch last?
Might have been yesterday or the day before. Like, I think I did my math and it lines up. I think it might have been yesterday. Which, if so, today's 1, Friday 2, Saturday. I'd be 3 days rest, so it wouldn't work out too well unless he pitched the day before.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't look at the math.
They played yesterday.
Yeah, was Daniel the starter yesterday?
Like
I honestly just could not tell you.
Pulling it up right now.
Because what happens in Omaha starts to run all
he
together.
did, and it was not
Yeah.
good. Well, let me put it this
How many
way.
pitches did you throw? That's what matters.
Well, he threw 3 2/3 innings.
Okay.
Allowed 5 earned runs. 2 of them are 2 home runs. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
2 of your
How many did you walk?
0.
Okay, good.
Struck out 8.
Good. Cool. He's ready. Well, depending on pitch, Connor's ready.
Hold on. Pitches. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, all I care about is pitch count. Pitch count and walks, really.
85 pitches.
Yep, he'll come through next time.
Yep.
He's ready to go.
Coming up next. Oh, real quick. Royals tickets. They've won 3 series. So caller number 3. Caller 3. You get Royals tickets. You get 4 or 2. You get to choose 4 tickets or a pair of tickets. A pair of tickets will be lower level. The 4 tickets will be upper level. 272-9429 right now. The Royals are winners. Therefore, you are a winner. Well, coming up next, though, we will wrap things up with the mic drop. Lisa, who is our winner for our Royals tickets. So, Lisa, thank you for listening to
Going to the K.
the show.
Everybody keep listening. We'll give them away the more. If the Royals keep winning, we give away more tickets.
That's right.
That's how this works. That's what we did last year.
We gave away more tickets last year so far
more
than this year.
Well, yeah.
All righty, Fulton, what do you got for your mic drop?
It's simple. I'm off tomorrow, so if the rest of you can all have a fantastic weekend.
Fulton's getting married.
I am not. No. A buddy of mine is getting married, though, so I will be at a wedding Saturday night. But hopefully the Royals can get a win, and when I see you all back on Monday, hopefully I'm talking about a Royals winning series against the Chicago White Sox.
I hope you have a good weekend.
Me too. I think I will. I think it's going to be a very fun time.
Have a good time and watch some NASCAR with your pops. There we go. We got a lot more to get to coming up tomorrow. Coming up next, though, is 580 Sports Talk.